Could you stop a meteor with a baseball bat like you were swatting a bad pitch out of your backyard? And if you miss, does your insurance guy still answer the phone when your driveway turns into a smoking crater? Stay with me, because at the end, I will give you one surprise detail that makes the whole idea feel even more ridiculous and strangely personal. Picture the scene. You are outside because you swear the grill tastes better when you stand in the cold, like a responsible adult. You hear a sound that does not belong to weather, traffic, or your neighbor's leaf blower. It is a deep, tearing hiss, like the sky is unzipping. Your first thought is not space object. Your first thought is, what did I forget to fix this week? Then the light hits. Not a nice sunset, more like a welding arc aimed straight at your face. Your porch cameras go white. Your phone loses signal for a moment because the atmosphere above you is suddenly full of angry, charged air. Navigation gets weird. The map spins like it is carsick. Somewhere, a truck driver yells at his GPS like it owes him money. Airliners reroute, not because the meteor is polite, but because the atmosphere is being punched so hard it starts acting like a badly tuned radio. Now you decide you are the hero. You grab your bat, of course you do. It is the most American tool for solving problems that do not care about your feelings. You step into the yard like you are about to teach the universe a lesson. Here's the science in plain terms. That meteor is not falling like a brick off a ladder. Gravity is pulling it in, sure, but it is arriving with the kind of speed that your brain refuses the numbers. It started as an orbit problem, a rock minding its business around the sun, then a tiny nudge, then a new path that intersects Earth. Distance in space is so rude that a small change out there becomes a very large change down here. By the time it is bright enough for you to see, you're not looking at a rock, you're looking at compressed air in front of it. The atmosphere is the first thing it hits, and it hits it hard. Air gets squeezed, air gets hot, and hot air becomes a glowing shock wave. The meteor might even be breaking apart already, because density is not just about the rock. The atmosphere has density too, and at that speed, it behaves less like air and more like an invisible wall that hates surprises. You take your stance anyway. Your back makes that quiet complaint sound. Your knees ask why you are doing this. Your shoulders remember every weekend project you did real quick. You swing. The bat does absolutely nothing, except maybe give you a story that your friends will quote at your funeral with suspicious laughter. Because the meteor is not impressed by wood and confidence, it is carrying momentum that makes a bat feel like a toothpick. If your bat even touched it, the bat would not stop the meteor. The bat would become hot dust, and your hands would learn a new definition of regret. You wouldn't feel the impact as a hit, you would feel it as a flash, a shove of air, and then your ears ringing like you just stood next to a jet engine made of rocks. And even if you somehow cracked it, congratulations, you just turned one problem into many problems. Instead of one object, you now have a shotgun blast of fragments, each one still moving faster than anything you've ever driven, each one still guided by gravity, each one still wrapped in superheated air. It's like breaking a bowling ball into marbles and hoping the marbles behave politely on the highway. This is where the consequences get very adult very fast. Windows pop, not because the rock hit them, but because the pressure wave arrives like a slap across the whole neighborhood. Doors rattle, your garage flexes, the road surface shivers. You think about your roof, your water pipes, your power lines, and suddenly you remember every time you ignored that small crack in the wall and said, "It's fine." If the meteor is big enough, the ground itself responds, not in a Hollywood earth splits open way, but in a real sobering way. A big impact sends energy through the crust. That energy can travel. It can shake structures far away. It can disturb tectonic stresses that have been waiting patiently for a reason to move. The planet is not fragile, but it is busy. You don't get to throw a punch at it without it punching back somewhere else. And communication? That gets messy too. A major atmospheric blast can mess with radio signals. Satellites don't fall out of the sky like coins from a ripped pocket, but they rely on clean signals and predictable conditions. Your phone call drops, your internet stutters, you're standing there with a bat, staring at a sky that just reminded everyone how dependent modern life is on quiet, invisible systems. So what would actually stop a meteor? Not a bat, not a brave speech. Distance would stop it. Time would stop it. The only reason humans have any chance at all is if we see it far away and nudge it early, while it is still an orbit problem instead of a neighborhood problem. Space is huge, and that's the gift. You want the fight to happen millions of miles out, not in your front yard next to the grill. And now the promised surprise detail. The most humiliating part is not that your bat is useless. The humiliating part is that if the meteor is small enough for your bat to be relevant, the atmosphere probably already handled it without your help. The sky would have done the job. You would be standing there in your robe and boots, ready to swing at a problem that already turned into harmless dust high above you. You would be the guy who brought a bat to a fight the air already won. Which is kind of the whole lesson in a way. It feels annoyingly grown up. You spend half your life preparing to control the dramatic thing, while the real world is run by quiet forces you never see. Gravity, density, distance, systems, the boring stuff, the stuff that doesn't care if you feel ready. So here's my question for you, and I want a real answer in the comments. If you had exactly one swing, and you knew it wouldn't stop the meteor, would you still run outside and take that swing just to feel like you did something? Or would you stay inside, protect your home, and accept that some problems are not solved with muscle and pride?